hours.
2 hours?
1 hour every day.
2 ways or 1 way?
One way.
Okay.
And then that's not only me, all the kids are like that, those who want to go. That's why those days in India, mostly some people send kids to the schools, and after some time, agriculture becomes more important, so they drop off. Girls were never being sent to more than primary school because they didn't want girls to walk every day type of thing. So then we finished high school, and most of the times in those days, the schools were not that of high standard. Teachers were not very good. Few dedicated teachers, so very few people used to pass high school exam, which was conducted state level.
Right.
Then many times people become farmers. To 1 hour each way, you can say,
Right.
Yeah. And the oldest in the family, we have 1 brother and 3 sisters. Our lifestyle was, we never had power those days. There was no electricity for us. And if I say all these things, people might say, but so you read with a little kerosene lamp, okay? So that's how it is in the evenings. And I mean, if I tell all these things, sometimes it looks silly, but I'm sure this is true for many people of my age, those days growing up villages. There are so many successful people in America probably have the same story to tell. So when we walk also, we never have shoes. Just walk, that's how life is. Not that my father could not afford, but that's how kids used to run around, all the time. So even getting the results also, they used to publish past results in newspaper. That's how because it's a exam conducted throughout the state. When the results come, you have to go and look at the newspaper. We never used to get newspaper to our village. So all the 6 or 7 of us who wrote exam, from our village, we had to go to the Dindi again to one of the teacher's house because somebody said, "Oh, results are announced." So we went to a teacher's house after 1 week after the results were announced, and then we saw numbers. They have a number they give you what we used to call hall ticket. That means hall ticket means to enter into the exam hall. Okay, if there's a number they give you, that is the number you put on all your exam. You don't write your name. Number is the only one. That's it, because you cannot write your name on it. So they publish those numbers in the newspaper for those who pass. If your number is not published, means you failed. And after one or 2 months, they'll send you what they call marks memo. They call it memorandum or memos, marks. And then you can go collect from your school, and then you know which one you failed. The other thing is, you have 7 subjects. You have to pass in everything. If you fail in one, you fail the whole thing. You have to take exams all over again for all of them. So our biggest problem was we didn't know anything about much English at all. Mostly you remember the whole book. Okay, we used to call by heart. Okay. Other exams, other subjects I was very good. So English language is the biggest problem. So I thought definitely all of us fail in English, most of us. Who pass English means other things people are pretty good. So we go to this teacher's house and we all look at we look in 3rd class. They used to print 1st class, 2nd class, 3rd class. That is based on the number of marks. Anything 60 and above is 1st class. I think about 35% is a pass mark, 35 to 45 is 3rd class, 45 to 62nd class, some number. So we all look in 3rd class first. And then none of our numbers were there. Then 2nd class, none of our numbers were there. 1st class used to be very few numbers. And then we said, okay, we failed, so all over one. Then the teacher came out and said, "Hey, Bhaskar R, the number 1st class in this school." So, but the teacher whose house we went to see the newspaper to see the result, he came out and shouted, and guys, come on back because Bhaskar, your number is in 1st class.
Right.
Exam I did very well, except English was a problem. I thought,
Okay.
definitely. I mean, I knew marks. In math, I knew.
Okay.
I mean, I got 100%. Other things I did, but English was always a problem for me. But I did fine my PUC. I got 59.5%. If I got 60%, I would have gone to medical school. Now, at those days, there was no entrance exam. If you get 1st class, you go to medical school.
PUC means degree or?
Pre-university,
Okay.
pre-university course they call it.
Okay.
This is 1 year after high school.
Then what did you do after 1 year?
So that's the time Telangana hesitation happened. Now you formed Telangana state 4 years ago, but in 1968, Telangana hesitation started.
Did you take active part?
So, well, I did not. I mean, all of us were forced to because all the colleges were shut down. It went on for 1.5 years. Everything was shut down. Almost Many people don't remember this, but almost like 3,000, 4,000 students died. A lot of firing used to go on every day.
And 2 academic years last?
So yes, we lost, instead of graduating our BS, PUC in 1969, for example, March, ours ended in 1970, so 1.5 years we lost. So 1 year, in theory, 1 year we lost.
Everybody lost 1 year?
Everybody lost 1 year.
Huge price?
Huge price, yeah. Whole thing, city used to be shut down. Many people don't remember. Whole city was shut down, all college, village, everything was shut down, high schools. It was very severe agitation those days
69, 70.
for separate state. 68, it started in 68, so college started in say June, about October, November time frame started.
Okay.
We lost almost 1 year.
Okay.
Afterwards I finished, and then again we don't know what else to do, because I went to my village. During the education I was in my village most of the times. When my results come also, I was in my village. One of my friend got my results, and then he applied for me and him in a Saifabad college for degree, for BSc.
Okay.
So we joined BSc. Then that went on for 3 years. And another life changer for me was in 1971, when we were joining first year BSc, Usmania University conducted a exam at the end of the first year. Those days, in undergrad level, all the exams are held at the end of third year. So you pass all the exams. Every year you get promoted. Then second year you write language, you take language. Third year you take all the other exams. But they conduct the exam first year. Then they took top 60 people in the entire university and brought them to university campus. They call special BSc. So that was a life changer for all of us.
You were one of the selected ones?
I was one of the 60 people. And then based on the marks, you become special in either chemistry or botany or zoology in the subject. So that was the biggest life-changing event for me and a lot of my friends. All the 60 people are the best, obviously, educated in my class. Okay, so out of 60, about 20 or so are chemistry special, 20 botany, 20 zoology special. So university education was excellent. Teachers were excellent, very highly disciplined. And that's when my confidence went up about how to speak with people, how to learn few English words, how to ask questions. And we used to stay in hostel, be hostel. And I was very fortunate to get that. If I did not, my life would have been very different.
So you were comfortable by then in English?
Yes, by that time, your confidence, still not able to speak fluently. There's a funny thing, out of 60 students in our class, 30 were girls, 30 were boys. All the boys were from villages. Because people from villages are pretty smart, Most of the girls were from Hyderabad. They're all English medium. They dress very well. Many of the guys don't even know how to say hello to them in English people. Other than one or two kids,
So do you know all of them are where they are now?
Oh yeah, I know all of them. Many of them are very successful.
Are they in US too?
Yeah. Anand Reddy was my classmate.
Oh, I see.
From PUC. He was also special chemistry.
Oh, I see.
So there are 6 or 7 of us, my class, they are in America.
Okay.
But all of them have done very, very well. Because they went to masters afterwards. Because special chemistry, special BSc means typically you are well trained, but also if you get good score, you go to master. There's no entrance exam, those are based on score only.
Okay.
So invariably, we all did very well. We got first class in BSc, scored very well. And then chemistry was the sought after subject in the sciences those days. So all the best people go to chemistry. So that's what I joined chemistry. And only about 30 people they take every day for chemistry those days, 30 people. Actually, no one really influenced me. Those days we didn't have many people, but it's a pure interest to go and explore. I still say that there was always and today also I always am a good explorer. I like to do new things, think different, that type of thing, yeah. There was nobody in our family also to tell me what to do, that type of thing. So we used to go and look at advertisements and apply for postgrad posts and all.
So Did you research any other country or only USA?
So I went to England also for a couple of years first, and then came to the United States. So first I was given a fellowship. We apply to the fellowships, okay? Because many times people used to advertise in the magazines like science magazines, but in India they come after 1 month. So we go to library, and then you look and then start applying to the people, and then I was given a fellowship in England, Southampton. That was another life changer for me. For 2 years I was in Southampton before I came. Then from there, applying to the United States was very easy to come to US.
So I think it's very interesting. Why did you not try to settle in England?
So again, after 2 years in England, we wanted to go back. In fact, our younger daughter was in India, and I wanted to go back. Then my professors recommended, you should go to America because research in America is much better. You should try to explore in America or Germany. I was given a fellowship in Germany also. But then we decided not to go to Germany because of kids' language and all. We came to America. In Eastman Kodak, after 1 or 2 years, I realized that I can work as a chemist as long as I can, and I was pretty good. But I thought for my life, better to do something else, and maybe I was thinking of starting my own business in a couple of years' time. But we had 2 kids, and then they were in the at that time primary school, and it's not easy coming from foreign country to think. Then I thought at least I should try to learn some business skills with that in mind, because as a chemist, it's not going to be easy to get into the business world. Luckily, Eastman Chemical Company, which was part of Eastman Kodak those days, had a lot of contract manufacturing business. So they gave me a job as a business development manager, which was very life-changing event for me. The manager who hired me trusted me, gave me that opportunity. So I always think about that every day, and I thank him whenever I see him for that. So within 2 years, of course, we had to prove, and I was able to prove because we are pretty good in what we do. And then I was very successful generating new business for Eastman Chemical. So after 2-3 years, Eastman Chemical became a separate company. Then they hired me and promoted me to manage a business for them. Okay. During that time, I said, okay, I can, but I'm thinking of starting my own business. At some point, I'll be leaving. So in 1993, when Eastman Chemical became a separate company, I saw an opportunity because we were in Rochester, Eastman Chemical Company in Kingsport, Tennessee. So instead of moving to Kingsport, Tennessee, I thought I would start a job in Rochester, New York. So then Srinivas Chitneni, we call him Vasu, he used to work at Duke as a postdoctoral fellow. I knew his brother, my classmate Janakram. He was looking for a job. So those days, not much internet and all, so a lot of people helping each other, phone calls mostly. And a lot of people used to call me because working in Eastman Kodak was a very prestigious thing for a foreigner, those days anyway. So we help each other. So he used to call me that he's looking for a job and all. So one day I casually mentioned to him, I'm thinking of starting a business. If you are interested, maybe if we can do it together, but it's a big risk for him because he just came as a postdoc. So at that time, he said, yeah, he'll be happy to do that. So then we started business in North Carolina because we thought this is a better place than Rochester, New York, because he already was here. There are a lot of pharma activity in this area, weather-wise much better. So in 1994, March 15th, we started a business. When I was working in Eastman as a business manager, I wanted to go to school in America because, I never knew what the credit hours are, what is this thing that they call about quarters and semesters and all. So each these things I wanted to MBA in the University of Rochester, and Eastman Chemical Company paid for it. I did the evening program. So a lot of people ask me, oh yeah, MBA, that's why you started a business. So it's not necessary. You don't need MBA to start a business. MBA helped me to improve my analytical skills a little bit, communication skills a little bit, and also how to work. But also definitely helped me to structure a business plan, for example, things like that.
Okay.
So it's funny, when I came here, we've always wanted to go back. In fact, when we came, our daughters were left in India. My wife came in 1983, And we thought after a couple of years we'll go back. And I applied for some jobs also in, I wanted to go back to University of Hyderabad as a professor. They started. So a couple of my friends in New York, where I was, they were always saying, if a professor is interested, maybe we should think about charting green card, because none of our families in the US, my side and my wife's side, were the first people to come from either side of our family. There is nobody to talk to much. But my friend, his name is Dr. Subramaniam, who is also a chemist, he always says, why don't you, if you want to go back, you can always go back, why don't you ask a professor if he wants to get a green card? So that's how this whole thing started. So we got, my professor said, yeah, because I was doing very good work, he said, hey, I'll be happy to sponsor. So that's how the green card. Once green card came, then they said, okay, we should bring our daughters here. So then they came here. Eastman Kodak, after 1 or 2 years, I realized that I can work as a chemist as long as I can, and I was pretty good. But I thought for my life, better to do something else, and maybe I was thinking of starting my own business in a couple of years' time. But we had 2 kids, and then they were in the at that time primary school, and it's not easy coming from foreign country to think. Then I thought at least I should try to learn some business skills with that in mind, because as a chemist, it's not going to be easy to get into the business world. Luckily, Eastman Chemical Company, which was part of Eastman Kodak those days, had a lot of contract manufacturing business. So they gave me a job as a business development manager, which was very life-changing event for me. The manager who hired me trusted me, gave me that opportunity. So I always think about that every day, and I thank him whenever I see him for that. So within 2 years, of course, we had to prove, and I was able to prove, because we are pretty good in what we do. And then I was very successful generating new business for Eastman Chemical. So after 2-3 years, Eastman Chemical became a separate company. Then they hired me and promoted me to manage a business for them. Okay. During that time, I said, okay, I can, but I'm thinking of starting my own business. At some point, I'll be leaving. So in 1993, when Eastman Chemical became a separate company, I saw an opportunity, because we were in Rochester, Eastman Chemical Company in Kingsport, Tennessee. So instead of moving to Kingsport, Tennessee, I thought I would start a job in Rochester, New York. So then Srinivas Chitneni, we call him Vasu, he used to work at Duke as a postdoctoral fellow. I knew his brother, my classmate Janakram. He was looking for a job. So those days, not much internet and all, so a lot of people call helping each other, phone calls mostly. And a lot of people used to call me, because working in Eastman Kodak was a very prestigious thing for a foreigner, those days anyway. So we help each other. So he used to call me that he's looking for a job and all. So one day I casually mentioned to him, I'm thinking of starting a business. If you are interested, maybe we can do it together, but it's a big risk for him because he just came as a postdoc. So at that time, he said, yeah, he'll be happy to do that. So then we started business in North Carolina, because we thought this is a better place than Rochester, New York, because he already was here. There are a lot of pharma activity in this area, weather-wise much better. So in 1994, March 15th, we started a business. When I was working in Eastman as a business manager, I wanted to go to school in America, because I never knew what the credit hours are, what is this thing that they call about quarters and semesters and all. So each these things was, I wanted to MBA in the University of Rochester, and Eastman Chemical Company paid for it. I did the evening program. So a lot of people ask me, oh yeah, MBA, that's why you start a business. So it's not necessary. You don't need MBA to start a business. MBA helped me to improve my analytical skills a little bit, communication skills a little bit, and also how to work. But also definitely helped me to structure a business plan, for example, think like. When I did masters in chemistry, I got first rank in the university. So I was given a gold medal for that.
Wow, okay.
Okay. So that's another big accomplishment. Those days, again, you realize coming from where we came from, and it is not that easy to compete with people throughout the state. Definitely explore new ideas, do research, publish papers. See, that's how in scientific career works. I published about 35 papers. You present papers, you go and talk to professors. It's So that's the, you take pride in doing it. It's just interesting how life evolves, right? So I always wanted to do things something other. That's how you think, right? So I'm a very curious person. I think my mother is like that. I'm always asking questions. My mother is today also is always looking at things and why, what is this, what is that type of thing. You know? So today when I get a free time, I mean, of course, I sometimes we do some friends time with some socially and all. I go for a walk with a lot of community activities now, and mostly spending time with family and friends.
Okay.
And am I exploring today? Am I learning new things? Of course, I'm learning new things, but may not in my field. But how to, like the temple thing is a new thing for us, right?
Yeah.
Sense impact is a new thing that we are learning with a lot of how to help community.
Yeah.
Sure. So, you know, it's interesting how things work. I guess it's personality more than anything else. I always like to talk to people. That's the reason I took the business job.
Right.
I enjoy, I get energized by talking to people.
Right.
Okay? And then one thing led to other thing. So always trying to help other people. In 1993 when I finished MBA, after exams are done, I found so much free time. Like I used to study almost 4 or 5 hours, you know, every week, every day, 2-3 hours. Then I said maybe I disciplined myself to do that, right? So the time. So those days there were a lot of chemists from Usman University in America, but we didn't have internet. We mostly talk on the phone. So I thought maybe we should form an association called Usman University Chemist Alumni Association.
Wow.
We formed in 1993. We didn't have any internet those days. We used to have mostly phone calls and all, and we were 700 people. We put a list together. We used to send out mailers. So I was the founder of that. Now, why do you ask? That's how you think to help. The reason that was pure networking, because in America networking is very important. So we were able to do that for almost 61 years, And then by the time internet came, one gentleman became president of it in 1999, and then he did not do much afterwards. It fell through. So we raised some money to give it back to the Department of Chemistry in Usman University. I still go to Usman University, and I'll come back that help chemistry department, because chemistry department is still very bad shape. So my dream was to see what can we do from here. Or there is successful chemists in India also from Usman University. What can we do to help the department? So I tried so much to do something, but departments every year people change. There is no mechanism to receive money like in the US. So they really did not do much, and I almost gave up.
Oh.
And I gave some money to put a name on as a gold medal. Last year, we put together a what I call felicitating our teachers, because we are all grateful to the teachers, right? Many of them are retired. So June of last year actually, this is 2017, we put this together. Parsar Reddy, good friend of mine, the heterodrugs owner, and we met in a marriage and said, Parsar, maybe we should do something. So we put that together. During that time, I met one of my old chemist friend. He went to the IAS field. So he also retired now. I got to know him through this function. He lives in Hyderabad. His name is Bhaskar R. And he said, I told Bhaskar R, this is what I was told. I told everybody, this is what I wanted to do. I could not do it, guys. And now all my friends are gone. There is nobody in the department. They are retired. If I go there also, nobody knows me. So I said, Bhaskar, this is my challenge. And he knows how the regulations work. We brainstormed and we came up with a plan where we form an alumni association outside the department. Then Bhaskar took responsibility to float a new organization, non-profit, and make people to donate money to that, and we fund the department to fix the department, modernize.
Oh, excellent.
So I take very lot of pride in saying that, because I always want to do something, and because of Bhaskar, my dream came true.
Okay.
So today we fixed the whole chemistry labs already. Because Parsar Reddy, he's a $1 billion company. He said, Bhaskar, I'll be happy to help anyway. So he's funded the whole MSc chemistry labs.
Wow.
I'm going to fund my research lab where I did. I said, I'll be happy to spend $100,000, fine. I'll be happy to donate whatever it is. Another very successful company in Hyderabad called MSN Labs, Satyanarayana Reddy, is also, they're all juniors of us. They have respect for me. So I asked him, guys, you need to help. They said, yes, sure, no problem. We're ready to arrange it. I is going to send 1/6. So we are fixing the department of chemistry now.
Wow.
Then we want to go to the other colleges. So that's one thing I want to tell you because of how you were saying that. All this idea started in 1993 when we founded the Chemist Alumni Association.
Your living today is basing on that foundation you got from there.
Exactly. Today what I am, not only me, Gauri, so many people
Right.
are benefit from the department.
Right. Yeah.
There's so many without that we would not be here.
Correct.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, you asked me what do I do with my freedom. That idea started in 1993. Where it is today, my dream came true now. It's still process continuing. So today we organize guest lectures. People go from here and now, seminars. Because we have this money from outside, we can do this. And department has to go because it's benefiting the department, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so I think definitely ability to work with the people and that type of thing, inquisitiveness, allowed me to develop good relations with many people. Okay? And that's how you become like a community leader, if you will. That's how you take new initiatives, if you will. I mean, when we came to this town, Vasu was involved in the temple, my co-founder.
Right.
Very well. They all were a part of the temple. I did not know much about the temple. Then he told me, why don't you become a member, donate some money. So I became this, whatever, the founder member or something. Then during the discussions, one day Vasu was asking maybe you can come and work at the temple as a director or something. So 2001, 2002, I think I was as a director. Prasad Vanguri was the president of at the time board member. Ganesh Krishipati, I got to know many people. So that's how my involvement in the temple started. During that time, we raised a lot of money to put the parking lot. We had a raffle we started.
Okay.
I had 5 people on my team. I was responsible for finance. I had 5 team members: Ganesh, Satish Garmella, Ganesh Krishipati. One guy named Sheshadri left town. All these people, I told them, guys, all of you should become board members in the future because you all are good skills. Okay. So this raffle was drawn. Then we gave away a Lexus car to somebody.
Wow.
It raised $120,000 in 2002 by doing that. Then after that, I realized because Vasu involved so much, I really cannot, both of us cannot spend time because my business is important. So after 1 year, I resigned my director thing because
But you were chairman too.
Then later, 2005, somebody said, why don't you come back to the temple, become a trustee? So 2005, I became a trustee. So those days, trustee term was 4 years.
Okay.
They had 5 trustees every alternate year, 4 years, 5 years, 4 years. And so I think 2005 or 6, I became a trustee of the temple. But see, if you do something, your dedication, right? You cannot just keep quiet.
Yeah,
You have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So when I became trustee, then you learn more about what goes on. There's a time they decide, we want to build a temple, buy more land, this and that, and all the pieces have got to come together. And then the idea of building a temple like this was conceived in 2007. Then we put a team together. God brought people together. And then I was elected chairman in 2008. And that's when the temple construction is going on. And motivation was, many people said, Bhaskar, you have good leadership skills. You can bring people together. It was not easy, Gauri.
Yeah. It's a huge
Politics, human relationships are not easy.
Right.
People.
And in your time only, this temple was finished, right?
Yeah. We finished the temple. But that was done in a very disciplined way. We ran it like a small business.
Right. Otherwise, it would have not happened.
No. People say, why don't we wait? But there is no money. Why don't we wait for 2 more years? Why don't we wait? I say, guys, no. You put this is what will happen and work backwards.
Right.
We have to work backwards. And luckily, all the pieces came together. Good people came along, and I'm happy that we did that. That's the biggest, at least I take a lot of pride in saying that in addition to other things. I lost a lot of sleep, many sleepless nights.
More complex than your business.
Yes. Many people, develop animosity to you.
Right. Yeah.
Those you think are your friends become enemies.
Right.
Because they think that in our community, what I found out, Gauri, and you probably see this, is all of us are very successful. Everybody wants to do things. But we never learn soft skills.
Yeah.
Because I always tell people, whenever I speak, I tell you have to learn soft skills. We don't know how to communicate. If you don't disagree, you don't know how to come to come to agreement.
Right,
In the Western culture, they learn those things. They also disagree, but there are ways to express disagreement.
right,
So I think maybe next generation we change that.